Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout for Shimmerz Paints to share. So I'm using the amazing December Color Kit. It has 5 items of paint in there's 3 spray bottles and 2 Shimmerz Paints, and it also includes some fantastic tinsel, 3 dots, and this cup file that you can see here. So I have cut the cup file on my silhouette, and I've cut the branches completely separately to the baubles, and the branches I left on my mat, my Cricut mat, and then I sprayed them all over with Spritz Granny Grey. So I wanted them to kind of be a silvery colour, so I sprayed them with that, and then I've set them to one side to dry, so I really kind of saturated them. The cut file itself, so the baubles part of the cut file, or the ornaments part of the cut file, I actually adapted slightly. So I doubled it up, so I cut 2, but then I cut one of the baubles off and then sandwiched the 2 together. And then I welded them in Silhouette Studio. So basically I ended up with small baubles but long. So so I had more baubles than what was on the original cut file. So the reason for that was so that they would stretch across the whole of my layout without being gigantic. So that was how I did that. But you could easily do the same thing by cutting 2 and just trimming off one of the baubles and sticking them together, rather than doing it as a thing in your Silhouette Studio. So rather than adapting the cut file itself, you could just do it by manually, effectively. Just resize so that you've got 2 that fit across your layout. Okay, so I want to create a mixed media area for my cut file to sit on, and I wanted to kind of create a shelf for my photo to sit on, so that will be above the line of baubles, whereas everything else, the baubles themselves will sit on top of the mixed media more than anything else. So I just drew a line across my layout, and then I used that as a guide starting point, and then I applied 2 different colours of the Color Kits to the background, the pink and the red. Excuse me. So the Shimmerz Pinko de Mayo and the Shimmerz Buddy's favourite colour. I really love that. It's a real true red, and you don't get many of those. So here I am with my branches. They're still on my cutting mat, as you can see. They're still a bit wet and soggy. I'm now using a star stencil. It's one that was by Paige Evans and was available for a while in the Shimmerz store. I'm not sure if it's still available or not, but I know lots of people had it. It's also a cut file, so you can download that and use it as a stencil if you wanted to. I've used one of the Shimmerz foils. It's in Mother of Pearl, through that star stencil over the top of those branches. I really smudged it a bit and it didn't work perfectly, but it's okay because I'm actually going to cover those branches mostly in tinsel anyway, so you don't really see the stars. But I just wanted, I basically wanted my branches to have some sparkle on them, or have a little bit of shimmer on them. So I've just spent some time backing my cut file. So I cut a load of circles from my Big Shot. I used some metal dies in a Big Shot, and I cut them to size, but they weren't quite perfect, so I had to trim them. So I stuck them all on and then just trimmed around them with scissors. I figured that was easier than drawing around and doing it that way. What I should have done was cut them on my silhouette, but I didn't have enough foresight to do that. So now I'm going to just put my background onto my border. So I need to add some more mixed media, but I want to basically put my layout together before I do so. So I have just cut my layout down, my white background down to about 11.5 inches, maybe a bit smaller. And then I have distressed the edges and folded the edges and stuck it to a piece of paper that has houses all over it, and it's really pretty colours, blue, pink and red. So I have done that. Now I can go in and add my splatters because my background is kind of complete. So now I can add some splatters. So same 2 colours as I used for the background. So I've done Pinko de Mayo and everybody's favourite colour. So I'm adding lots and lots of splatters in those colours. And I'm also thinking about, at this point, adding some more splatters. So I wanted to bring in the other colours from the colour kit. So the Granny Grey I can bring in no problem because that's appearing on the branches. And the Vibes Seize the Day. This is a beautiful colour, kind of like a soft turquoise colour. It's really, really super duper lovely. But I was a bit concerned that this colour would be too bright compared to the blue in my background paper, but actually it was perfect, absolutely perfect. I haven't used the Spritz olive branch for this layout because you can see that I've really gone for pink, red and blue and grey rather than the green. I've got no green on the layout whatsoever, so I haven't used that one, but it's a brilliant Christmas colour and I'll be using it on other Christmas layouts for sure, as well as other things too. Okay, so just coming back to my cut file now. So I'm now just adding the middle bits from the baubles. I'm just bringing those in. They're still on my cutting mat. I've just brought them in and put them onto my backfilled cut file. There we go, and that's my cut file complete. I've also got foam pads on the back of it and stuck it onto my layout. I'm happy with how that's looking. A big area of mixed media there. Now I'm just adding this white title that says Home for Christmas. It's a perspective by Bramble Fox. And it's a really lovely title. It says Home for Christmas, got a snowflake as the O, and goes perfectly with my photo and my story today. So I have, because it's white, I was a bit worried that it wouldn't show up. So I thought I would extend the pink area above the line so that I could add my title on there and it would show up a bit better. Now the first time I added the colour, I had the wrong colour on my paintbrush, so I ended up with the wrong colour. So you can see it's a little bit purpley. I blotted that off straight away and that came up completely because I've gessoed my background beforehand, so it's really kind of, it was really good to lift up the colour like that. So now I can see, then I just added some of the Pinko de Mayo straight out of the pot, and added it with the paintbrush and then watered it down and added some packaging on top to make it look like watercolour. And now I've dried it, I can now stick my perspective in place, so that's what you can see is under my tape there. That's holding it down just for a few moments to bond the adhesive because it's a large perspective, like acrylic piece. It doesn't have any flex to it, so therefore it needs to be held down because of course the background paper has warped slightly because I have added mixed media and water to it. Okay, so I've just added in all of those branches. How awesome are they? So they are just granny, at the moment they're just Granny Grey with the stars stenciled onto them, and I am going to add the tinsel that was in the colour kit, so just adding a couple more branches in there. I think it wasn't completely stuck down, so I'm just making sure that they are all stuck in place. I'm a bit worried, they're still, even though I've dried them with the heat tool, they're still a bit damp, so I'm worried they're going to come off. So not only am I going to stick them, I'm also going to add some foam pads and add some glossy accents amongst the layers as well, just to make sure that they really, really don't go anywhere. I've also added a couple of snowflakes down the bottom there with they're also Bramble Fox perspectives. They're really lovely. So I've added those down the bottom. So now I'm adding my tinsel. So this is part of the December Color Kitz. I've never seen anything quite like it. They're kind of like silver flakes, literally, of tinsel. They're just fabulous. Super silver, super sparkly, almost glitter but not quite, much thicker, much more coarse. Definitely not glitter. It's like they're like flakes. So anyway, I've just added glossy accents all over my branches, and now you can see I have a glitter explosion. And I sprinkled it on. So it wasn't quite as easy to sprinkle as glitter. So I picked it up with my fingers and like a pinch, and pinched it over the top of the glue, and oh my goodness, I can't tell you how amazing this looks. I'm so happy that we had this tinsel in this kit. It just adds that absolute magic sparkly bit of Christmas, and I really, really love how it looks. It's just awesome. It did, however, go everywhere. So my craft room is lovely and sparkly, including me, and my table, and it's literally everywhere. But I did manage to gather up most of it and pop it back in the packet, so I have got some more to use on a future layout. So just adding in some final details now. So I'm adding in some little pink love hearts. They're just little resin ones that I got from somewhere. They're just in my stash. So they are just being dotted around all over the place, a bit like enamel dots really, but heart shaped and pink. So just adding some of those in. I've got a few bits of stray tinsel stuck underneath my baubles and my snowflakes, so just making sure that I can get those out and they're not appearing where they shouldn't be. So the final part then is to add some journaling. I wasn't quite sure where to add it. In the end, I ended up removing one of the little hearts that I'd put in place, adding some lines in with my ruler and a pen, and handwriting in my journaling. So just a few lines about spending Christmas at home this year. Normally I would be heading off to Florida, but no, we are in the UK because we can't get over there because of the pandemic. So it's a shame, but it's also an exciting opportunity to spend Christmas at home for a change. So so lovely. I've just handwritten the date there inside one of the baubles as well, and that is my layout done. There it is, all finished. I hope you've enjoyed this layout. I really super loved this, how this turned out. I love the colour kit. It's just fabulous, so perfect for Christmas layouts. Don't forget that if you place an order via the Shimmerz website, if you put my name in the comments, you should receive a freebie. So thank you so much for joining me today. That was Nikki Rowland for Shimmerz Paints.